All right, good morning everybody. My name is Neil Graham. I oversee the recreational programme here in PreK-2nd Scottsdale. A few more introductions for you to Simon Roberts, Peter Byrne in the orange, and Richard Gage up against the wall. Peter is our referee assigner, so he takes care of all the referees. And Richard and Simon, you'll see at the fields every Saturday. They're there, sitting up, taking down, just checking everything's going according to plan. This is Landon as well. Landon used to play for the club. Actually, came through the rec programme, played competitive. Mum was a rec coach. Mum is now a competitive coach. So the whole family have been involved in a long time. And Landon is now at college and helps us out at rec and helps us out in the rec skills clinics and what have you. So, quick presentation for you today. We've kind of, by show of hands, how many folks are returning coaches? Quite a few of you, okay. So how many are like first time coaches or first time with us? Okay, so maybe 50-50. In previous years, we've done coaches meetings that have gone on for a long time, and kind of feedback we got was it's just a lot. They'd often, by the time people ask questions, it would drag on for over an hour. So we've tried to kind of split it up a little this season, see how that goes. So we've sent out information ahead of time. So there was a little video that I tried to create to give you a little welcome and introduction to the club, a bit about the club history. Hopefully you've had a chance to see that. And then, thank you, Michelle, appreciate that. I felt like I was rambling a little bit, to be honest, because I was just talking to myself. But so we might have another stab at it, but hopefully it gives you the idea. And then we sent out some emails as well that are more age-specific guidance on practices and the kids that you'll be working with. So hopefully that's helpful. And then between Richard, Simon, Ollie and Mac are not here today. We've got our competitive club tournament this weekend. There's 500 teams, it's chaos, so they're at the fields all weekend doing that. But they will send you the official rules for game day and a bit more information on that. If they haven't already, you'll probably get that this weekend. So really we're just going to go through kind of logistics of the season and hopefully have you out of here pretty quick. Most of you got your coaching equipment as you came in. If you didn't, we can get you that at the end. So yeah, that's what we're going to go today. So in terms of practice schedules, you've seen you've had an email with a link to book practice space if you want to book it. We are a partner of the City of Scottsdale Youth Sports, so they give us a designated amount of field space every season. Fall and spring. We get a lot less in the spring because soccer is decreed to be a fall sport, which is a little bit of a challenge because it used to be our fall league was more than double the size of our spring league in terms of participants, but over the years it's kind of evened out. There's a little less in the fall but much more in the spring, but they give us less field. I think baseball gets priority in the spring, so you don't have to use one of the fields that we have a permit for. The insurance that everybody's covered for means you can practice anywhere you want, whether it be your backyard or if there's a local community park maybe that works for you, feel free to go there. But if you want to book, and it's particularly handy if you want lights, you can use the link that we send out to book a field space, but you can book anywhere. There are some differences between City of Scottsdale fields and SUSD fields. So for example, we have Hopi. We have used over that way, is it Tavan or Tavan? Tavan. We can get that if somebody wants it, let us know. The other one is Anasazi up this way. If we could just contact the school and ask to book that for you. It has to come via us though, as you're not able to do it directly yourself. So there is the odd school field that we might be able to get if it's in your neighbourhood and it works for you. But any questions on the practice field situation? Everyone good with that? That's the City of Scottsdale rain out number up there. We obviously don't tend to get too much rain, but was it last spring, Simon, the open day was cancelled because it got rained out? So if the city closed the fields because of rain, then obviously we have to get off. But it really does rain, and they really only will do that if there's standing water in the grass, and if we played on it we would wreck it. So it's a rarity, but that's a number worth saving, just because they'll update that phone line and they'll update the City of Scottsdale website if they close fields. So as soon as they do that, we get that information and we'll send it out to you guys. But if you want to go kind of straight to the horse's mouth, so to speak, that would be where you go. At some point in the next few days or next week, our club registrar will send you a link to a thing called Safe Sport, just to do a background check because you're working with children. So keep an eye out for that. We ask that everybody do the online concussion course, which we will send you a link for as well. If you've done it before, you don't need to do it again, but if you're a first-time coach, you should do that and then send us the certificate so you've completed it, and then you're good. BIGA is the, hopefully you're familiar with it by now, this is the app that we do all our registrations with. If you download it on your phone, you're going to get your game schedule on there, you get your roster on there, your families will be able to see everything on there. If everybody wants to get used to looking at BIGA, that's where the most up-to-date information is. So, any questions on BIGA? Hopefully you've had a chance to have a look at it. So, in terms of game day itself, in the fall we have the pre-K and kindergarten kids up at Thunderbird Park. In the spring we move them down to Cochise, so everybody's in the same location. We've got a map on the next slide, so we'll come to that. But we'll have games starting as early as 8, and when do you think we'll go through till, let's see?
Last games probably start at 2:30.
Start at 2:30, so it'll probably be 8 games from 8 till 3:30. We're anticipating at the moment. Simon, you and Richard, got anything you want to add about setup and takedown?
No, just you know, if we don't ask you to take down a field, it's probably because there's a game behind you. You may have looked at the schedule, but something may have moved. So if we don't tell you you're the last game, feel free to walk off and leave equipment there. If we haven't told you, it's our fault, and we'll take it down. But setting the fields up is pretty simple. You know, putting nets on goals, and corner flags up if you're 3rd through 8th, and then if you're 1st and 2nd, you're just putting nets on goals. Kindergarten, you'll put nets on goals, and pre-K, they pop-up goals, so we'll put those up for you. But we'll ask you to take those small goals, 44 goals, off to one side of the field, so the city can mow and do all their business. Yeah, it's not rocket science. And by the way, make your parents do that work. You're coaching the team, assign somebody to, you know, and the goals are aluminum, they're light, kids can carry them, they're not. And the big goals just stay in place. That's about all I got.
Okay. So soccer etiquette up there was we would ask that obviously you might have more coaches helping you practice, but on game day there should only be 2 coaches on your sideline. Anything more than that, frankly, just creates chaos and panic amongst the players. And there has been seasons gone by when we've seen sidelines almost resembling an NFL sideline with 20 coaches marching up and down, yelling and screaming with clipboards, and it's not that much fun for the kids, and it's certainly not much fun for the opposing team if you're a coach on your own and that's what you're up against. So you may have assistant coaches help you at practice, and maybe more than one, but on game day if you just have 2, that would be appreciated. We want to try and foster a sort of calm, constructive, positive environment at the fields. We believe that's conducive to all kids enjoying the experience and being able to just relax and play and not feel intimidated or under excessive pressure or fearful, frankly. So that's what we want to see. If you do come across folks that maybe you feel it's inappropriate behaviour, please do let us know that we have a referee tent and or the HQ tent where you'll see Simon, Richard. Come and let us know. We'll typically go take a look at that game and see who the culprit is. In recent years we've found it's often grandparents that are the worst, Pete, right?
Yeah, or they have been.
So and we'll just have a word with them. But we put up there the 24-hour rule as well. As what we also know is often in the heat of the moment, emotions are running high during the game. So sometimes if you don't feel it's something that needs to be necessarily addressed right then go sleep on it, and before feeling the urge to maybe come and let us know, because sometimes the next day when you've had time to reflect, it's maybe not as big a deal as you thought. So that's a general rule that we as a club, we certainly with our competitive club players, we say to parents, hey listen, come talk to us whenever you want, but if you're upset after the game, immediately after the game's not the time. Go home, sleep on it, give me a shout tomorrow and we'll talk it through. Blowout games, so these will happen unfortunately, or can happen, but I think they can be managed. Keeping in mind this is recreational soccer, just an introduction to the sport for kids, but reality is if your roster happens to have a few athletic kids in it, you'll win all of your games, and if you don't, you'll probably lose all of your games. And if those two teams play, it could get ugly quickly, especially in the small-sided games when it's 3v3, 4v4, you know, I think once a game of soccer gets to 5-0, it's probably it's over. Not many teams are going to. Not many teams are capable of going down 5-0 and then coming back from that. So rather than reining in the goals and making it a 10-0, 15-0 game where the other team are just absolutely annihilated, crushed, humiliated, embarrassed, don't want to play again. Again, these are young kids. There are things that we can do to manage the game. With the real young kids, it's a little trickier, but as they get a little bit older, you could say to your kids at the end of the quarter or end of the half, hey, you know, this team they're struggling, we're pretty good, so we don't need to embarrass them, we're going to try and score with our left foot in the second half, or take shots with our weaker foot, as opposed to that. Or maybe you put you've got to string 4 or 5 passes together before you can shoot, or there is nothing wrong at all with saying to our coach, hey listen, this is a bit of a mismatch, throw in an extra player, let's play 5v4. And if that doesn't slow it down, throw in a 6th player. It's no big deal. What is more important is it's a competitive, fun game. And so if that means it's 6v4, but it's a good battle and it's tough to try and score and win, that's much better than 4v4 and somebody just getting absolutely smoked. So
Yeah, can I just add to that?
Yeah.
Because I'm now coaching my granddaughter, and I came up against this. I was so flummoxed because the coach was delighted to tell me that he kept his best player on the field, and of course I lost count after 20 because nobody could catch the girl. She just kept, and I wanted to say to him, yeah, that wasn't probably a good idea because nobody had fun today. Even the girl that scored all the 20 goals, because she wanted, but I was so taken back by his stupidity, I thought, God, I'm going to get myself into trouble, and I just walked away. And I'm supposed to be able to tell him that, but I was so furious with him. So my point is, it can be, I know it's difficult, but it can, like Neil said, be managed really quickly. She's by far the best player. Why don't we just sit her out for a few minutes so the other little players can, you know. So anyway, that was my own experience coaching my granddaughter.
And I think once the kids get older, maybe when they're playing in the bigger fields, say 4th, 5th, 6th grade, and if there's a complete mismatch one day and there's one stud player, maybe that's the one day that player goes as goalie. I mean, they've got 8 other games where they can play out in the field. It's recreational soccer, it's supposed to be enjoyable for everybody, so it is a bit soul destroy. I mean, a lot of you guys are doing pre-K and kindergarten, there's no referees, no scores, but with 1st grade and older, they have referees, and we collect the scores and really just internally to try and get a feel for who the stronger teams are, who's the teams that are struggling, and at the end of the season we maybe manipulate the game schedules. The stronger teams play each other and the weaker teams play each other, so maybe last couple of weeks of the season it's not a complete mismatch, but it's pretty, sometimes when we get the scorecards coming in, we see, you know, 16-0, like, holy, what happened there? Like, that could be managed, and presumably the team that got 16 goals smacked past them are and they're 7 years old, they're probably not feeling very good about playing soccer. So, not by any means, obviously we all want to win, no one wants to lose, not trying to be, in that direction, but it can be managed so that it's a more enjoyable experience for everyone. Is there any first grade coaches in here? So a couple. Pete, do you want to chat about the refs quickly?
Well, thank you for coaching. Just one or two quick reminders. I think, Neil, correct me if I'm wrong here, I think we're the only club that actually offer referees on the small-sided games, the 4v4 games. And we do that as a training exercise, and also very often these young referees, it's their first job and they take huge pride in it. The single comment that we get is they don't blow their whistle, which is true, they don't, because they're 12 years of age and they're terrified that if they blow the whistle, all these angry parents are going to be looking at me and now I have to make a decision. So we do work with them constantly on that, but just bear in mind that the vast majority of those referees play in the club, either competitive or recreational, and they are children. It doesn't matter if they make the mistake. And for the vast majority of the coaches, they're really cool about it. We just have that 10% of coaches that are stupid. They're just stupid, because does it matter that the ball wasn't given in that right or wrong? You know, it's not a critical thing if the referee makes a mistake. Let him or her make the mistake and move on. And by the way, they know they make the mistake, because I chat to them later, and it'll be the first thing they'll say. Listen, I was reffing and I missed a call, and I thought, it's okay, don't worry about it. But again, thank you for taking the time to coach. And you can come and see me anytime. I'm roaming around, watching the games. I always tell the referees, by the way, we're not watching you, we're watching the grandparents. Just to let you know.
So pre-K kindergarten, you guys referee, there's no refs, you referee your own games. I think it's always a good idea just to chat with the opposing coach at the start of the game, just to kind of make sure you're on the same page. And certainly, pre-K, if the ball goes 5 feet out of bounds and it looks like they're going to dribble back towards the field, I would say just keep playing. The more stoppages there are in the game, it takes forever to get the little kids to get the ball back into play. But we just want them playing as much as possible. So I think you facilitate the game however you can, just to keep the ball rolling and keep the kids running and keep them moving and keep them playing. So as I say, if it goes a few inches out of bounds, play on, just keep going. That would be my suggestion.
It's a really good idea to talk, because when I was coaching my granddaughter, the opposing team, every time they scored a goal, half the siblings would come on the field, and the parents were like, and the game would stop for endless. So I used to say to the opposing coach, hey listen, as soon as the goal is scored, we're just going to put the ball straight down and play again, like Neil said. So that's my own personal experience. The stoppages are terrible, and it's no big deal if they go around the goal and come back and score. Doesn't matter,
As you can tell, Peter's team loses a lot. His granddaughter gets the
We didn't win a game. We didn't win a game, and my granddaughter wouldn't play. It's all her fault.
This is the map of what the fields will look like this spring. Simon, do you want to chat about parking and the setup?
Sure. Unless you're playing on Mountain View 1 or 2, that parking lot right there where Mountain View, where the rec center is and the tennis courts, is a madhouse. But what people don't seem to realize is there's 3 other parking lots just on the other side. So if you're on pre-K or kindergartens, there's a parking lot right in front of your fields. If you're on 7 or 8, maybe if you're on 7, you can park over in Mountain View. But if you're on 8 or any of those kinder or any of these backfields, these parking lots are like a 50-yard walk, and there's covered parking in them, and they're right there, and it's easier to get in and out of, and you're not fighting everybody else trying to get in because it's like nobody understands that there's other places to park, even though we send this map out every season. A lot of people park on 84th Street there, that gets a little dicey, but there's usually plenty of parking in the parking lot for some reason. And people just don't like the parking lot because they want to park as close to the gates, to the entrance as possible. It's like the people who want to park right in front of the grocery store. And so they'll drive like 15 laps to park right in front of the grocery store. So, yeah, these backfields, this is actually a closer walk if you park on the west side of Cochise School, if you're on these back kinder or first and second grades. If you're pre-K, obviously that parking lot is over there. There's only 3 fields over there, and there's like a 15-minute gap between games, so it should facilitate some people getting out. And you know, if you show up an hour before your game, you're probably gonna run into some parking from all the other families that haven't left. Our games don't happen at the same time because all the different age groups have different lengths of games, so there's always people coming and going. So there's in theory lots of parking. But if you've got your heart set on parking right next to the tennis court, good luck.
All right, let's see. So hopefully all your kids have ordered their uniform. If they obviously may have a uniform from the fall, which is fine. If they're new, then we need to order it via soccer.com. If you're the home team, you wear your white jersey. If you're the away team, you wear your red. Most of you got your coaching equipment when you arrived. Cones, pennies, bag, ball, and coach's shirt. If you didn't, we'll take care of you in a few minutes when we finish up. We do sell these pub goals, slightly subsidised. I think they're a little, maybe $100 or more if you order them online, but they're pretty handy for practice, really easy, they just pop up. We use them a lot. So that's that. Game schedule. Simon, you're giving an update on game schedules?
Sure. We're putting together the last bits of the game schedule. It's always, I was telling a couple of folks who were here early, it's always a moving target that we're running at right before the season starts. We've had a couple of teams explode, and so then that sort of has a ripple effect to the rest of, because somebody will coach 2 age groups, and now this age group's an odd number of teams, so that shifts everybody, and now the people that coach 2 teams have to move, and so something that happens in 7th and 8th grade affects kindergarten schedule, and it's awful and a nightmare. We're hoping to have it out by Sunday latest, and you might just get like the first 3 games, and then that gives us a little room to massage the rest of it. But it's the bane of my existence, and yeah, I would rather coach the shoutiest parent group in the world than do schedules.
So we'll have that to you soon. Rosters are probably 95% complete. Hopefully everybody's reached out to your families by now. Let them know, introduce yourself, tell them what the practice schedule will be, that kind of thing. I mean, we are still, people can still register to sign up and play in the league. So we've still been getting 3 or 4 registrations a day. And then we just plug them into wherever there's rosters that might not be at the maximum for that age group. These are the guys that oversee the rosters and game schedules for each of your age groups. So for most of you guys, that will be Ollie for pre-K and kindergarten. Those in first grade will be Mac. Those guys are, and I was talking to a gentleman earlier, and he said Ollie had not got back to him, which is unlike Ollie, but to be in fairness, Ollie and Mac are knee deep in the club tournament this weekend. So I think once they get through tomorrow, they'll be a bit quicker to respond to you. But if you've got any questions on your rosters, if there's any tweaks, it's kind of slightly fluid right up until the week 2 of the season, really, in terms of sometimes you might get a kid who can't practice on a Tuesday and that's the only day you practice, so we'll try and move them to another roster, and then maybe we'll try and replace that with somebody else. So there's a few moving pieces as we go, but they're pretty set at this point. Any questions on any of that?
I had a couple questions. So the 2nd grade level is all 4-on-4 still?
Yes.
Okay, because I was just confused because a lot of the kids on my team were playing 7-on-7 now with the all-star stuff. So I didn't know if that was switching over.
So
that's what my parents are asking for.
So the reason behind that, so you know, is in the competitive club world of soccer about 8 years ago, they changed the age group parameters and moved it to birth year as opposed to school grade.
Okay.
But ironically, it didn't work out very well for them, so they're actually moving it back to school grade this summer.
Okay.
But those kids you're talking about playing All-Stars, they would have been in first grade or second grade, whatever it was, but when they moved into that All-Star age group, they moved to a birth year. And so if second grade might be playing 4v4, but that birth year might be playing 7v7.
Gotcha.
That problem will resolve itself after this year.
Okay.
But that's always an
So
issue.
it'll all be the same after this year?
Yes.
Then we'll invent some other problem.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we'll
Don't
find
worry.
something.
Then my other question is, so you said that there's a maximum number of players per roster, so on the 4v4, what's the number? Is it 8 or?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's, yes, it's a maximum, but we've had teams that are, you know, the one kid from the one class is left out and everybody on the team wants little Johnny on the team and everybody's okay, and so they'll have 9 on their team. I mean, it's 8's probably the best sense of a team from
Right.
4v4, cause you can
Right.
scrimmage.
Yeah, so you might see a team that for some reason has 9, but there will have been well, obviously we need to have some kind of rules, otherwise it's kind of chaos, but at the same time, sometimes if there's a compelling reason to make an exception, whatever that might be, then we might do it. But it's always tricky because, you know, people want to make exceptions, and when you make an exception for one person, then where does it end? And then suddenly everybody wants to, well, this player's a little bit too old, but they want to play down, or this player, you know, it's endless. So we just try to apply a bit of common sense with it. But for 4v4, ideal world, it would be 8, and then you're just kind of hockey style flipping 4 on, 4 off kind of thing,
Yeah,
you know?
makes something really
Yeah, yeah.
So is kindergarten traditionally 4 versus 4-2?
Yes, the only age group that plays 3v3 pre-K. Kindergarten, first grade, second grade are 4v4, and then third through 8th grade will play 7v7.
And then with kindergarten, you said there are no referees.
Yes.
What are like the expectations for like time of the like length of the game?
Those are,
Is it about the same?
what do we say? First and second grade. So I think they're 8-minute quarters.
Yeah.
Am I right in saying that?
For kinder?
Yeah, 8-minute quarters.
Just so one of the coaches keeps track and, you know, get it
The
close.
same for pre-K too?
Pre-K, I believe, are 6-minute quarters, Pete, right? I'm reminded of one of these coach meetings years ago.
More
The
like
coach
36
asked me
minutes.
how many quarters we play in a game.
What did you say?
3. Any other questions on that piece? No?
I have a comment.
Go on.
If anybody's not ordered uniforms on soccer.com, I've had some issues with that. So I can't get uniforms till, March like 5th.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I'll
So,
I know the red will be back ordered.
yeah, so maybe you wanna send out an email to teams.
I'll follow up
Say
with
like
our
it-
soccer.com rep and find out.
Yeah.
I know they had a fire in their warehouse a few months ago, and I think that may be part of it. But if that
They
happens,
can wear red or white.
yeah, and we've got red and white pennies at the fields because kids will bring the wrong jersey, right? I'd always encourage them to bring both jerseys to every game just in case.
Maybe just send, yes.
But we've got red and white pennies for that purpose. So if somebody needs to throw a penny on,
Or a red and white t-shirt, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Any
Exactly,
t-shirt
exactly.
that comes.
yes.
Field registrations, if you need to make adjustments, do you just revisit the link, rebook it, or what's the best way to do that?
Yeah, probably actually just email Ollie directly and let him know, hey, I need to cancel this one, and whatever, because you could go in and book whatever fields is left, but it'll probably keep your last booking, I'm guessing. So maybe just let Ollie know that hey, we're not going to be at whatever on this day. We've changed to this.
Okay.
Because what we'll also do, the city are actually tightening up on. I think they get a lot of complaints from Scottsdale residents who want to book a field for adults or whatever, and the city say to them, "Oh, this field is booked by Phoenix Rising Rec League," and the residents go by and there's no one there, and so what they want us to start tightening up on is if we are not, when we get the permits to give us, if people are not using them, give them back so that other people can use the field. So probably next week we'll review that practice sign up and see, okay, is there anywhere that's not being used, and we'll say to the city, hey, we're not using these. hopefully that makes sense. But fire away with any questions, if anyone has any. If not, we certainly really appreciate you coaching. Hopefully, I'm sure you'll have a fun season. Like I said in my welcome video, which I'm sure you all eagerly watched, we are very much a Scottsdale community soccer club, and this is a great way to introduce kids to the sport of soccer, and we just want everyone to kind of fall in love with the game and keep playing. Some will, some won't, but hopefully, we're all, between Peter, me and Simon, I think we've probably 60 plus years of working for the soccer club, and we're now at a point where, you know, when you go out and you run into kids who are now adults who played in the club, and it's really cool when they tell you what a great time that they have great memories of playing soccer and this coach or that coach, and that's the kind of bigger picture stuff that far outweighs a random scoreline on a Saturday that everybody
In my
forgets.
case, it's mums and dads
Yes, exactly.
that I'm running into now.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you for coaching. If you've got questions, feel free to stay. If you need to pick up more coach equipment, go through the back there.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we'll see you out in the fields. Thank you guys.
Thank you.